Welcome to the One More Rep podcast, where we take it beyond the barbell. I'm your host, Mo Dingo, and across the table from me is the Brofessor. What's up, man?
I mean, I do drop knowledge bombs, Mo. Hey, like, bro, that's a good one. So I was just telling them that you were going to be on my hit list. Now we're getting cool now because
Oh no, a lot. They're pretty dope.
yeah,
they took a lot of.
And then what was the Zeus one?
Oh, Brosidon.
Broside, yeah,
King
yeah.
I forgot the King of the Broshan. I forgot to add that part to it.
Broside, that's pretty sick, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna get that tattooed on my neck.
King of Aquatic Gains.
That's a long tattoo.
Right.
I gotta.
And then I think the other ones I used were Bropeshi. Brocephus.
There you go, Sebastian.
Sebastian. That was his favorite. As always, thank you for the like, shares. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review on Facebook and or, iTunes.
Or both.
Or both. Yeah. Feel free to
Anytime
do all
you
that.
give someone an or Mo, they don't do either.
Okay, so do both.
Sort of like when I say, Mo, leave me a review for our gym, or I'm going to throw myself off a cliff.
You're going to throw yourself off the loft.
No, it's not high enough.
But we have got some more reach when it comes to world domination.
Let's talk about regional. What's up?
Wyoming? No, Wyoming.
Wyoming. That's it, man.
We're going to have to make
The
a road
pigeon
trip.
hasn't reached there yet.
No, not yet. So we added Cyprus, Afghanistan, Hong Kong, and Turkey, which brings us up to 42 countries. And Podbean, they started expanding some analytics data on Canada, and Alberta is leading the way when it comes to Canada. So I think it's a tie between Canada and Germany as far as our overseas reach. Canada, Germany, and UK.
Yeah.
So that's pretty solid.
Well, Meg and Blake, you better make a bigger imprint before you move back here so we don't lose our German connections.
And as always, don't forget to hit up our sponsor, 75 Clothing, and use the code OneMoreRep, so that way you get free shipping, and because they are making badass gear for your badass ventures. And when you're tagging all of us in your social media, use that hashtag OneMoreRepFam or OMRFam, as well as World Domination. But go ahead.
I would say, man, you got it down pat because every time you try to read that their quote, you
I
mess
screw it up. If I memorize
Wally's
it.
here, and now it's like, were you saying it here on the way in the car? Like you just kept reciting it?
Yeah, I kept reciting it.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to get you Wyoming. I know somebody in Wyoming.
We know people who know people in Wyoming. They just don't want to listen to us. We're going to hold Wally to that.
Yeah. So that third voice you hear with us today is Wally Judy. He is the owner, founder, CEO,
janitor,
HMFIC of 75 Clothing, and our sponsor. So Wally, thanks for joining us, brother.
Oh yeah,
glad you're here. Came up Friday?
Friday night, yeah.
For to support Brody's comp that we had here yesterday. How'd the comp go, bro?
Good. Ran on time.
Ran on time? Yeah, it did.
Yeah, we finished the awards right at 6:55. Or whatever, 5:55. Whatever.
There's an hour difference. Yeah.
It was on time.
It definitely on time.
No one got hurt.
No one got hurt. Everyone had a good time. A lot of
puking. This was our most puking event. And
really?
It wasn't even that hot. Like, yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, right out the back door.
Yeah.
I counted 6. At least once. There's some that were multiple. We'll just give them one.
Do you keep like tally marks in your office?
No, but it's just funny. Like, I've never puked in a workout, so I don't. Sebastian was saying, I never puked either, but maybe I just don't go hard enough. I'm like, nah, you go hard, man. It's just, I don't know. You can't eat Chipotle and then do my comps. I'm just saying.
No, you can't. Not at all.
Or eat anything, really.
So, Wally.
Yes.
Thanks for being here, first of all.
Oh,
thanks for setting up yesterday. Gave a lot of our local listeners the opportunity to buy some gear and actually meet you up close and personal. So, and we know it takes a lot of energy and effort to get up here, so we truly do appreciate you coming up here.
I love it.
And we also appreciate you being our sponsor. It means a lot to us. And also the shirts. He's the one responsible for getting those out to you. And we now have ladies' tanks available if you are interested in those.
I'm just saying, I'm the only one not in the freaking picture. Got Mo, got Jenna. Where's Bro? I better be getting my
picture.
I better be getting my own picture.
Yeah, we got one this morning because we're gonna get them online this week.
Well, Bro can do the socks.
With my pasty ass legs, like, come on, you gotta get some of these with your skin, your
my mocha complexion,
your Pacific,
Pacific Islander,
yeah.
So Wally, tell us a little bit about you. Who are you? Who is
He's Wally.
Who is
Mo.
Wally?
I'm Wally. I'm not Jordy, Judy. Actually, I grew up, 45 minutes away from here, good old Ohio. So
That's
it's
right.
kind of back home.
In Springfield or?
Actually, in Urbana.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
It's
yep.
just like Tennessee, isn't it?
Not really, but close. It's
Damn it.
cooler. It's nice and cool up here. I'll say that. But no, I went to West Liberty-Salem High School, which
Okay.
is dinky, tiny. But I got bored around here. There's nothing but like farm or factory. I grew up on a farm and knew I didn't want to do that. So the factory thing didn't work. So I decided to join the military. Wanted to see the world. So I got in basic training.
Which
Good
branch
old-
did you join?
Good old Air Force.
There you go.
I mean, you can't not
Can't go wrong
join
with
the
the
Air
Air Force,
Force when
yeah.
you got right pat down here.
Yeah. Well, you'd be amazed. There's a lot of people that go other directions. Don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know
I had,
either.
I had one friend say, "Well, I didn't join the Air Force because the recruiter was never in his office." I was like, "That should have been your first indication."
He's
To
working.
Yeah, to join.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you get around everybody else in the other branches, and they're kind of like, they start making fun of you because of the Air Force.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, the
The chair
Force.
force,
Blah,
yeah.
blah, blah. And I'm like, well, you don't be mad because I scored high enough on the ASVAB. I had a choice. Sorry. But no, so I went in the military. I went in the recruiter's office, and of course and this is the funny part of the story is they asked me what I wanted to do. I didn't really have a clue, so I was always told to go in guaranteed. So they offered me a job being the boom operator on a refueler.
Okay, so that's the guy that lays in the back of the jet that refuels
Yeah.
other jets, and he gets to play like Nintendo as he guides the fuel pump into the aircraft that's receiving fuel.
Yeah, and then there was some job working in the AWACS. I was like, I really don't want to fly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're
Like
like,
cool
well,
doing the AWACS.
they're like, you know, this is the Air Force, right? And I was like, yeah, well, I'm not a really good swimmer, so I'm not going to join the Navy either. So I looked over, I saw a little silhouette of a security police at the time with a dog, and I was like, that's what I want to do. I love animals. So I was like, and they're like, well, we can guarantee you security, but can't guarantee you the dog thing. You'll have to work that out there.
That's a big flip. You go from AWACS and
Into-
boom operator
to dog handler.
To dog handler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like opposite spectrums.
Yeah. So, I ended up going, getting into the dog program and spent the glorious 9 months down in San Antonio. But
Where you
then-
can experience all 4 seasons in 1 week.
Yes, you can. You can. And a bunch of different wildlife while you're out there as well. Nice little boars and everything else. So,
Yeah, Javelina's up at Camp Bullis just running wild.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a little crazy. So, of course, then I got to experience wonderful Fort Dix, which we had talked about that.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. Glad I didn't join the Army.
Yeah, that's Fort Dix. That was the opportunity for the Air Force to learn that you were glad you joined the Air Force and not the Army.
Yes. Yeah, because you're going through with all the Army.
Yeah, the 11,
cadre,
the ground
everybody.
pounders, the 11 Bravos. So yeah.
out there digging foxholes. Not a whole
Sorry,
lot of fun.
Tony.
So then I got stationed in Italy.
At Albiano or
yeah,
in- okay.
Albiano. Yeah, really tough.
Yeah, tough duty there.
Tough. But of course, we were back in there. There was a country used to be called Yugoslavia for all the really young listeners. But we were there during their little civil war.
Okay.
So our nice little base turned into like the headquarters for Europe.
Yeah, because they were bringing in aircraft from other bases and launching aircraft over there constantly.
Everything there. So, but I did my 4 years and couldn't handle the politics. So I was like, I'm good. I'm undone. So, but while I was over there, I met my wife. She's from Tennessee, which is why we live in Tennessee. She was also in the Air Force.
Okay.
So she was supply, so really not that exciting. But we got married while we were over there, ended up moving back, and both of us got out, and the rest is history.
So
50 years later.
So at what point did you start? When did you decide to open up the clothing company?
Well, what it was is like I had done screen printing, art, things like that. It was just kind of a fun hobby. So we'd always go to this local bar, and there was a CrossFit.
Where most good ideas begin.
It really is. It's where
Just saying, podcast.
awesome business ideas always start.
I want to tell you a quick story, real quick, interrupt. Talking about that, the design of the B-52 bomber was done at a bar in Fairborn.
Really?
By two or three engineers sitting in a bar, and they drew it
On a napkin or something?
napkin.
Nice.
Really?
Yep.
That's amazing.
So I'm on my way to that, right?
Right. One of the best bombers ever made in the history of our Air Force. And then they do it on a napkin over drinks.
The aircraft is twice as old as the pilots flying it.
Yeah,
those
because
are old.
some pilots' dads have flown
Have
the
flown,
same
yep.
aircraft.
Yep, that's pretty crazy.
It's a little scary too.
True.
But the whole company idea. Somebody walked in from a local CrossFit. I didn't do CrossFit. It was kind of interesting to me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But they walk in with a Red Friday shirt, and I was kind of like, that's okay. And they knew that I did that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, well, make one better.
Challenge accepted.
Okay, not a problem. I'll do it. So a week later, I had a new design, did it on a shirt, brought it. They loved it. People at the bar started buying them.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd show up there. And for anybody that doesn't know, the Red Friday is, remember everyone deployed. We're red on Fridays. So the whole bar started doing it. And then
nice.
we were kind of like,
What's the name of the bar?
it's non-existent now.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I know. It was really cool. It's called Vic's. So it was really cool.
Damn it, Vic.
I know it. Couldn't keep it going. But so, we did a couple more shirts and kind of got in with a little bit of the CrossFit scene.
Which is a good market to get into if you're a T-shirt company.
Yeah,
It's a very good
CrossFitters
market.
like T-shirts.
Everybody needs shirts. So we ended up doing a competition setup, a really small setup, like maybe 4 shirts at the CrossFit that was right there. And then, of course, you start doing it, and then people run into you, like I ran into you all.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Oh, hey, we have a comp coming up. Do you want to come to ours?" And and this was in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, "Oh boy, do I really want to do that?" So I was like, why not?" So I did it, did well there, and then it's just grown from there. Once you go one place, you meet people, you meet more people, and you're all over the place. And the next thing we know, we're up here, we're Pensacola, Florida. We go over to Myrtle Beach, everywhere in between there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's grown. I try to keep it scaled back a little bit because I don't want it to get out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
To where
Maintain that quality
to where
control.
it's too much that I could even handle. So
Do you want to get that big?
eventually, but I want to take my time
And scale it appropriately.
Yeah, and I don't want to jump into it where I'm just like, drowning.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that's when people start going out of business, quality goes down, and you don't. I like the personal connections to everybody.
relationships, yeah.
Like yesterday, it's like I enjoyed meeting everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to watch a lot of the competition, but when people come out and they talk and, it's just getting to know people one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
And then people come up to you, oh, yeah, I know you. I'm like, well, great.
So you said that you weren't a CrossFitter before you got into this business?
I was not.
So at what point did you make that transition? Or what made you transition?
Seeing how fit everybody was.
Okay.
And I, of course, I went to the whole Globo gym thing, and I was like, well, I could do the CrossFit stuff here and do that. And then finally I'm like, yeah, no, I can't. I don't know enough about it. So I ended up going, the thing is I ended up doing shirts for a CrossFit in Knoxville in exchange for going there.
Oh, okay.
So, and it worked out well. They made money and I got to work out and it was all good. And so I started getting in there and the first workout was, it was like banded pull-ups and, squats and everything. And I was dead.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, why am I dead doing this?
I got a damn band.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, what in the world?
Yeah.
And so,
what was your impression? Because I get a lot of, I talk about this with people who join our gym. Women are the most timid to try CrossFit, but they end up becoming our most loyal members and most dedicated. You get guys to come in, and they would be the first ones to kind of check out because of ego.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They don't like that sensation of not performing well,
or seeing a female who's like 120 pounds. Yep.
Or other guys, especially, I would say, that are in there that maybe don't look as fit as them that are running them into the ground because they're 50 years old. So they don't handle that very well. What was your impression as a male athlete joining the gym? Like,
Well, I mean, it's not fun getting outlifted. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, and you run and you're getting smoked by these people. But it's,
I guess what brought you back, and what didn't, that sensation of getting, you know, beat down and beat, and like, even though it's new and interesting, guys tend to, like I said, they don't handle it very well. Adversity in that aspect.
I mean, it was the challenge because it did hurt me. And I thought how crazy it was that I was like, I'm that out of shape that I can't do that. And I'm like, just to me personally, I've got to get better at this. This is just crazy that I'm there. You know, because I had run a marathon. I did mountain biking a ton. I rode road bikes. I mean, I did centuries. Went to Tahoe and did a road bike century. And then I can't do this.
So you're an athlete.
I mean,
you
I
just
was
weren't a CrossFit athlete.
I was active. Let's call it that. I mean, if you look at me, I'm not an athlete.
Well, you know, I have this discussion all the time because when I used to fight and do jiu-jitsu, if I was to start doing jiu-jitsu again, I would be crushed cardio-wise.
Yeah, same
going against someone who knew jiu-jitsu. So getting mat time, you have to get mat time. So I've seen very in-shape, fit people come into CrossFit, and the most basic workout buries them because you're not in CrossFit shape, right? And so I think that does factor in. So you can be really fit, but you're not.
And still be challenged.
I mean, you know, because the CrossFit is. I mean, it's an all body thing. Yep. You know, cycling or running, it's your lungs and your legs, and it's way different. But that was the challenge, that I was that bad at it, that I wanted to get better. And, of course, where I went, there were a bunch of college kids. And those kids were like, just muscle it up and just strong as could be. So that was kind of a driving force. I wanted to try to catch them.
Okay. You had a rabbit to chase. Yeah.
Didn't really happen. But,
I mean,
it's that
if
goal.
you're competitive in the aspect of, it gives you something to do.
To aspire to.
And I'd see that's probably when we get guys in here, and I always ask this because I love information, but that's usually what people say. They like to be challenged. They didn't like how it made them feel as far as
that first time
they
out.
felt like they were incapable almost of doing this. And so that's what keeps them coming back. Obviously, it gets boring in the Globo Gym because there's no communication and you're doing the same thing. It's not very it's not programmed appropriately, so you don't get the same stimulus. You get bored with it, and so that's another huge one. But you know, CrossFit definitely is.
I mean, that's I enjoy that the most because I'm like, what are we doing today? You know, it's like, hopefully it's...
in the word that you just used there is we.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was a gym rat, you know, I got my, you know, my muscle magazine and like, oh, someone has a new bicep workout, so let me do this.
Oh, yeah.
You know, whereas I didn't have to worry about programming when it came to CrossFit. You just come in and then like it's that we mentality. Hey, what are we doing today? Not what workout am I doing today?
Right. And it's, you know, of course, you know, I will look at the whiteboard on there because just for me, because I want to know where I kind of stand. It's not really a competition type thing with me, but I want to see how out of shape I am.
I mean, I think that's what's kind of cool. If you get the right gym atmosphere, right? And because this isn't every gym, there's some douchebags, all they care about is beating whoever's there.
Yes.
And then you know, rep shaving. We'll talk. They'll do everything to beat that person.
To be on top.
To be on top and be on top of the Wadify, whatever. But when you get a good gym atmosphere, it's competitive in the most healthy way, meaning, you know, we can lump, you know, certain people together in groups because of their fitness level and where they're at, and having an opportunity to be like, to not drop the bar and beat them by one.
Oh, yeah.
And be like, hey, man, what's up? Or don't say anything and let them check it. But I think that's what's cool is if you have the right atmosphere in the right gym, that makes it even better because you do get to push each other. You want them still to succeed just as much as you'd want to, but you also get to feel good when you give it your all. sort of like Pat did yesterday, right? So
Oh,
on
goodness, yeah.
the very last workout, he had finished it in 2 seconds. Only RX Team 2 finished that workout.
Yeah.
And it was all on his shoulders, and he could have given up easy. No one would have said anything, but
Yeah, everybody would have like, damn, he almost got there, and everybody would have been cool with it.
Yeah.
But he
didn't.
he dug deep.
Yeah, he had
and just seeing the rest of his team like, on their knees and screaming at him, just telling him just to pick the bar up.
You have to see the picture Jenner got. It was probably one of the most epic pictures. Unless I took it, it would have been even better. But yeah, it was probably, she captured one of the most unbelievable images I've probably seen. Here it is. Check it out.
Yeah, the
Oh yeah.
well, no, but and seconds before that, I was looking down because I realized what was going on, and Gina is on her hands and knees, and that's Pat's wife. And when I think he's got like 2 reps left, and she realizes that he's got the ability to finish it because he's got plenty of time, and she's like on her knees, and just like the look on her face was like almost equated to like seeing my kid take his first steps. Like she was so proud of him that he was going to push through it. And I was like, I wanted to go grab my phone and take a picture of it, but I didn't want to miss seeing that because it was just such a powerful moment with that family. Not them as husband and wife, but that family as a team as well.
Yeah, and it goes even deeper because a lot of people don't know, like, he's just now had to sacrifice. He always works out at 5:30 p.m., but he's had to completely change his schedule.
To work out with his team.
No, he has to work out at 5:30 a.m. now.
Oh.
And so because of school and taking responsibilities at home, so his complete, that's a big flip from 5:30 p to 5:30 a. And to get up early and do that and just to get it in, that's a sacrifice. I'm going to say it was probably why he felt the way he did, and then why Gina did. People don't realize the sacrifice people make to stay fit.
Yeah, and another driving force is having a 16-year-old that will bury you.
and let you know about it.
And then talk smack
Yeah.
afterwards.
Well, you're grounded. So go talk smack again.
Yeah, he like the other day, he outlifted me by, it was probably 30, 40 pounds. He hit 245 for a squat clean, and I was like, you just...
Yeah, I have, and I had that kind of same motivating factor. I have a sophomore in college who plays Division III football, and he might be able to like lift more, like static lifts, but I'm still able to put him in the ground when it comes to a wad.
Yeah, well, I can't even do that. And he's a tall, lanky, 170-pound, 16-year-old kid.
He's getting close, and it's not going to be much longer before I can't beat him. But yeah.
Well, it's because you keep going on those vision quests, man. Like you gotta stop disappearing. Like, it's like crazy.
I'm trying to find ways to beat him. That's why I need to go. I need to go on those walkabouts.
Mo's phone is in and out of service when he's going through the mountains of the Rockies, just trying to find, meaning of life after the Air Force.
Still struggling. You're probably struggling. Yeah, you figured it out pretty quick. It's still going to take me some time.
Yeah, he was at a freaking bar and seeing a T-shirt, and now he has a freaking awesome business.
Yeah, it took me 4 years to figure out I was getting out.
So one of the things you mentioned was challenges that you faced, in the military and even in the gym. But from the business aspect, what were some of the challenges you faced in the beginning that you weren't prepared for, or that you didn't even take into consideration?
Money. Money's a big one.
Which is tough. We talked, right? His business is different than my business.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
He has a lot of his upfront costs is very substantial.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Not just printing press, but product.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got to restock everything all the time. And a big challenge is like the shirts aren't. It's up to me to do it. Like the shorts, I don't do those. I don't know how to sew. So finding companies that will make them for you. Getting a design that you want on them. It's hard. Plus, when you go to different parts of the country, there's different things that they like. It's like here's more conservative, and then there's more outlandish. So you go to Florida, you can
Bro tanks.
Oh yeah, yeah,
just so they can take them off.
Yeah,
yeah. But that and just time. Of course, I have a family. I have 2 boys. Wife, of course. A house you have to keep pay for. 16-year-old, you've got another vehicle, more insurance, all that other stuff. So it's hard to balance everything, and I feel like I work a lot. Like they've been on vacation without me because I'm working. They're getting ready to go on a cruise without me because I'm working. And not that I really enjoy a cruise, but there's that.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to say, time is something you can always invest. Like if he works hard. We've talked about in the podcast. Like he's very driven, and obviously he drove. Even though he has a local home, even if he didn't have a house here, I wouldn't. I assume he would still probably have come up. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
So just by knowing him in that drive, that's crazy. Like so, sacrificing time. That's just part of my opinion. If you want your business to do well, that's just the game of it. Money's tough. Especially if you have upfront costs. Where are you going to get it? How much? If you borrow too much, then your business dies, right? If you purchase too much and you don't sell it,
it's tough.
You're literally sitting on money, and it's in
that you can't move,
and it's in a T-shirt,
Yeah,
and they're not selling. That's forecasting and things like that is very tough, and I assume that's a huge learning curve. In CrossFit, you have a building, you have your equipment, so it's a little bit different. There's an investment, but it's not. I don't minus rent. Okay, really. I mean, I'm sitting on equipment, but literally it's all paid for, so it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah. Once you buy a barbell, you don't need an athlete to pick it up so many times in order for you to get your money back.
Right.
Yeah, because that's just going to make you buy a new one. Because they're going to wear it out.
Right. Yeah. So.
But yeah, it is. I mean, and that's the one thing I have is time. I'm not a bunch of spare time, but it's the free thing that you have that you can just put into it. And my wife works a lot. I mean, she has a regular job. Plus, she's the one that takes care of like the shipping, takes care of most of the financial stuff. So whereas I'm trying to keep up with, doing like, independent gyms, shirts, all these boxes everywhere I do, competition shirts, plus keeping my inventory up and my online store going. So it's a lot of time.
And probably I would venture to guess that your competitive nature helps you stay ahead of the game.
It does. Yeah, it does.
So how is competing in the retail space different than competing in the gym? Or is it similar?
It's pretty similar.
Okay.
If we go to an event and we see, of course, there's always clothing companies at events, 2 or 3, maybe more. Of course, you kind of look, you see what they're doing, try to gauge on what they have coming in, how much people they have visiting their little spot. But it does drive you to do that. I mean, and of course you see it online, you see it everywhere. Cause like our Instagram, you have, people will tag us in it, and then they're also tagging these other companies. So you see it all the time. Social media is just, you see everything. So that really drives me to keep it up and keep going, racking my brain to come up with a new design for a shirt. What colors do I use? This, that. So,
and I would say the design's pretty tough because, in my opinion, as a consumer, you can get shirts that are too busy, or people trying to do too much, or they stop. They get married to their originals, and they're afraid to branch out.
They stay in that template the whole
and then
time.
Guess what? Your spark's gone, right? It's gone. Like, you spark something with a cool shirt. Like, just yesterday, I was looking at some of the shirts that I hadn't seen, and I was like, shit, I gotta have that one. And that one's sick too, right? Because people get so married to it, and they're afraid because they've had success. They don't want to take that next step and put something new out there, and then branch off that, and then branch off that. And I think that can slow the business down way.
Well, and the thing is too, and this is what my wife doesn't like, is I'm never satisfied. And she's always telling me that you're never satisfied with anything. And I'm like, well, if I'm satisfied,
you'll stop.
Then it's just stagnant. I'm never satisfied a lot. Just not business, but I'm like, CrossFit. I always want to get. I started doing 2 a days, try to keep up with the 16-year-olds. But it's just I'm never satisfied. I always got to be doing something else, or another drive to do. I got to come up with 3 more shirts. I've got to do this. It's tough, but
it's tough if you don't love it.
Right.
So loving it allows that satisfaction, or you being satisfied and or unsatisfied, I should say. So it just, man, I have the same as him, and we're two different people. I'm never satisfied. I'll never be satisfied. And as soon as I'm satisfied, the business dies. That's just the way it is.
It is.
You can never be satisfied and kick back and just chill, because then that next person's passing you. And then you're losing a step, and then your members see it, and then you stop doing the little things. And I have a huge thing, like we talk in school, I could give two shits about being attention to detail.
Right.
Okay. Just the way it is. It was boring to me.
Yeah.
But all the small little things add up to be big things. So everybody always focuses on the huge, like Smash Fest, right? All my events, you could say, well, focus on the end result, the X money. But I don't. I focus on all the small things, which then equates to the end picture. And then I don't even think about the end game. It's all my little things that I do, and that's in the gym, how I run the gym, and everything, programming, everything. All the little things add up to be the end game. But that's everybody always focuses on the end game, but they don't know how to get there because they don't focus on the little
on the steps to get
Yep.
from A to Z. And I think most of us who are listening have been involved with competitions where you've been there and you're like, man, this isn't the most awesome comp. And I bet you those people that were running those were the ones that were focusing on the end result and not worried about
How much money can I make?
the nickel
Right.
and dime stuff, as far as like, starting on time, getting equipment, intelligently programming so that way equipment transitions are smooth, and making sure that, if you have resource limitations that you go and access those resources, or like yesterday, we had weather, and you got proactive with that about 3 days out and said, okay, we're just changing this because we're not even going to risk it, because those little details are important to you.
Yeah,
Well, and that's us too. I mean, it's what I do is, and my wife is really good at this too, is what would we want from a company?
Absolutely.
When we would order a shirt, what would we want? That's why everything we do is she handwrites a thank you note.
And I want to let you
Yeah.
know. That was the first thing one of my members told me. They said the shirt's awesome, but the
But that-
handwritten note that
Yeah.
they actually wrote meant more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's my wife. It's totally her.
That's sitting on my refrigerator from the stuff that me and my wife ordered a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and it's she signs it, thank you, and we throw in a couple stickers. I mean, it's people like stickers.
Yeah.
I mean, people like little things here and there. I had won something through Instagram, just a kind of a joke to begin with, doing it, and I won it, and the thing showed up, and it was just that. There's nothing with it, like
Just the prize, and that was it.
It is no extra sticker, anything like that. And like when we do our giveaways, I mean, we'll throw in some extra things. Yeah, you want a shirt, but here's some stickers, here's a koozie, here's this, So it's those little extras and like the little details that I will blame on the military.
Whatever.
Blame, but no, it really did help me. So I mean, that's what we do. It's those little things that make the impact.
Even through experiences that aren't considered good or whatever, if you didn't love the military, it doesn't mean you can't take away things to propel you in life. There's so many things that I'm a huge advocate. I'm going to see what I like. I'm going to take that and discard 99% of it. It's just because it's just the reality.
Yeah.
Because people can do that with whatever I do. I mean, I don't care. Like, if you like something we do, then do it. Like,
Hack it, take it, yeah.
put your own spin on it. But I'm not going to hold your hand and teach you and do everything for you, because no one did that for me. They say, hey, this is a direction. You want to do it, do it.
Yeah, but in the military, I mean, it taught me a lot. I did love the military while I was in. It was just those little things that I didn't care for, and I'd signed up for 4, and it was just kind of like, But it's like and then we were talking about the Red Friday shirts earlier. How that actually started too was before we even did them, we put together care packages and we sent them overseas. We got with this group. It's called HB Care Packages.
Would you explain that for some people?
Yeah, and they would. We got involved with them. What they do is they pair you with someone that's deployed. For us, we always wanted to be paired with the K9 teams, since that's what I did in the military. And so we would get, they'd send us, this is the person you need to send it to. Here's a list of what they requested. So we would go shop, like our whole family would go shop. We get what they wanted, and then we get some extra stuff, throw it in there. I mean, treats for the dogs, toys for the dogs, and stuff for the handlers. And we would send it over there. And then when we started the Red Friday shirts, we started taking money made from that and putting the care package just together and shipping them overseas. And we still do that. But they've gotten to the point to where they can take a monetary donation now. So what we do is we just send the money straight to them, and they put it together for us.
Right, which I found out when Aaron was deployed. You know, Amazon Prime was huge for him.
Yeah.
And so I guess that's a huge. Mo didn't have internet back when he was in and deployed. So
I didn't either.
Yeah, so
No, my first deployment, I had to write letters, and I got one phone call a week.
But at the same time, you know, we sent a care package here of all his favorite candy, and Aaron eats very clean all the time.
Yeah.
But we sent him things obviously they can't get where he was. And man, we sent him. We call it a box of diabetes, is what we sent him. And but he said that meant a lot because you can't. You could purchase it, but you're not going to purchase it.
You can't. And like, you know, I was in Italy. You know, we weren't deployed or anything, but just
There's still certain things
just
you can't
getting
get.
something from home was cool. And you know, of course, I had to wait till Al Gore created the internet before we could do anything. But you know, and we know how much that meant.
Yeah.
God,
yeah, I'm old.
dude, no, that's hilarious.
So you know, and we know what it means. So you know, that's why we do that. I mean, it's of course back then it was like CDs.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what those are anymore. VHS tapes.
Yeah, VHS tapes with commercials on them because we didn't get commercials overseas. That was a huge thing to get a videotape from your friends back home with commercials in it. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, you didn't have to learn about 1008s and how far they could go, and
or the Great State Quiz, or don't ship explosives in the mail. You know, things like that.
Really, I can't do that.
Now the name 7.5 Clothing. Where does that come from?
Of course, when we started it, we wanted something military because we're both veterans, but we didn't want to go over the top. So we looked and we were looking around, and of course the military. And I always love getting any Marine or Army person on this. It's like when did the military start? They get a blank stare, and I'm like, you should have learned this. You're
in boot camp.
Your birthday is that year. So it came from 1775, which obviously was the year that the military started because we had to have a military before we could fight for our independence. So we took the 7.5 off of that, and we did have to use the Army chevrons because the Air Force just wasn't that cool looking.
Right, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
But we get confused. There's a 75th Ranger Battalion. And people are always like, "Oh, were you a Ranger?"
No, not so much.
No, not close.
I was just
Not even
regular
close.
forces.
Yeah, I had a dog. There's that. That's about the extent of what it is.
That's cool because I was wondering what the name was.
And how did you not know?
I didn't know. I mean, obviously. I mean, honestly, I didn't know. That's pretty cool because I mean, I love history, but it's crazy. And 1 year later, we fight for our independence.
Right.
So 1 year we make a military, and then we gain our independence the next year. That shows you how fucking awesome we are as a country. That's all we need is a year.
We will invade you on Christmas Eve in the snow.
That's right.
Yeah, we don't
With
care.
a 1-year-old army, literally. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Where do you get your ideas? Honestly, where's your creative? Like what? For me, maybe I'm just freaking weird, but I find myself like unable to relax and let my brain go. But shower when I'm taking a crap, that's my two things. But more the shower. I think the shower is definitely the best because I like long showers, really hot, and I can literally just chill. And literally, I'll come out of the shower. I'll have a whole competition programmed. I'm not kidding. I will literally.
Yeah, you just loosely write it out. Yeah.
Write it in soap on the side of the shower.
No, I just put it in my head, and then as soon as I get out, I'll literally go straight to my phone and put the stuff in.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they'll hit me anytime.
Do you get a driving?
Shower or whatever? Oh yeah, I'll drive
because you're driving.
And I'll just see something, a billboard or something on the side of the road, and I'm like, it's a loose idea, but then you're like, oh, I could do something with that and take it this direction, and it's just anywhere. I mean, you see logos, you see signage or something anywhere you go, and it kind of will get you thinking about something, and it may turn out not to be anything like what it initially
Right.
what you initially saw.
But it gets the artistic type.
And it does, and it
flow.
gets you going. Oh, we could do this or this, and it'll hit me anywhere.
Yeah, I guess that's so. I guess another difference is you're the more artistic side, so that's kind of like creative imaging and things like that. Where I guess mine is more like
But now, if we like, I'll do something, and if I run into a block or something, I have a friend of mine that does some stuff as well, and I'll be like, hey, I got this, but I don't know where to go with it. And I'm like, well, you see what you can do, and then he'll come up with something really cool. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
So how do you do your designs? Because, I mean, I like shirts with, like I said, pretty basic. I mean, just their original logo. It's just something I dig, or hell, even just the 7 they put on the back. Like that's me. But I also like text, but not too much text. But his actual designs are legit, and I don't wear a lot of like his deadlifts and death metal. That is, dude, like literally, I wish I could wear that shirt every single
day.
day.
Yeah,
this might be my new 3/4 blue for this year because that's all I wear. But how do you do? Where do you come up with all this?
Well, of course, you try to pair something, and of course, you don't see a lot of deadlift shirts unless you're like a power lifter or something like that.
Because CrossFitters typically don't deadlift.
Right. I don't. I should.
See? Right there.
I really should. With that, of course, I'm a big metalhead. Not everybody gets it. And my kids are like, oh, this is horrible.
See, we're like 2 pieces in a pod. I don't have a beard, though.
But if you've ever seen like some of the death metal albums, you can't even read the name.
Or
And it's like, I don't know what that says. So I'm like deadlifts, what do you like power lifters?
God,
what do they listen to when they're lifting? I mean, it's a bunch of crazy metal just to get them hyped up. So of course I was like deadlift, death metal.
But still, you have the name. So where's it, like the actual image? You have a person on there.
Yeah, it's just a little crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more or less like kind of geared towards power lifters. I mean, because they're big and they're just, and of course you incorporate with death metal because you have something a little crazy because any of those albums are a little crazy anyways. So it was one of those I just went way out in left field with, and I was like, let's just get crazy and muscular and do it. And I did it kind of in that death metal font, but you can actually read this one.
Right. No, I think when I see shirt designs, you can see way too edgy or way like
There are some that are
just way out there. Like
Push it.
I would never wear like stuff that Castro wears. Like who represents CrossFit? Well, maybe I don't know if he does anymore. I hate the very outlandish stuff, even though I cuss a lot, and even though Gina Cron put the smack down on me and Mo for cussing too much on here.
Yeah, yes, she did.
And I think designs are, yours is unique in all honesty, and I love that you are unique amongst all the other brands that I see out there. And I'm not just saying that, I really don't, because I look at stuff. I don't own one Rogue t-shirt. Like I don't just buy t-shirts.
Yeah.
Right? And I did buy the hell out of yours.
I don't know, we try to put like a military flair to some of it without being like totally military. There's some companies out there that's just in your face, I mean,
You civilian can't buy this.
right.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's kind of like a military light type thing. I mean, because you
patriotic, but not in your
over
face.
the top.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, like we have the Freedom Barbell and Beer.
Yeah.
I mean, it has an eagle on it with a big old mug of beer and barbells. I mean, it's simple, but it's still patriotic. It's an eagle.
All right, before we get going here, we have to subject you to a test.
Uh-oh.
And we call this 3 rounds for time. I'm going to ask you 3 questions.
Can I scale it?
Yes, I guess, I guess you can scale it, right, bro?
What's the modification, Mo?
I don't know. Jen will come up with alternate questions. That'll be the scale.
No, that could be dangerous.
So I'm just going to ask you 3 questions, and then you do your best to fire back as fast as possible with your answer, scaled or RX. All right. First question. What keeps you up at night? What are some fears or concerns that you have?
Failing. Nothing really keeps me up at night. I sleep like a baby because I'm working so hard during the day. But
Do you stay up late?
no.
Oh,
No.
we need to work on that.
Here's the bad thing is I used to make fun of my grandfather
For going to bed early?
He went to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock every night. And I climb in bed at 8:30 some nights. I'm like, oh, I'm a grandfather, and I'm nowhere near as old as he was. So, but no, failing, design sometimes keeps me up. Like I'll wake up sometimes in the middle of the night, reach over, grab my phone, write something down.
Next question. What is something you want to be remembered for when you're gone?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I
It's
don't know.
usually the
I
one
would
that gets
say-
people.
Maybe I would say like first, I'm a husband and a father, so that would be first. Other than that, I mean, is really anybody going to remember me in 100 years? Unless I am president or something like that.
That don't even mean shit because I don't know. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I need
to discover the cure for something. Of course, you're probably not going to remember. Nobody's going to remember that either.
Because there'll be
There's a
something
cure.
new. Yeah, that's kind of weird. It sucks. You're here, and then
Maybe invent the next B-52 on a
I
napkin.
mean,
Yeah, there you go. What is something you would change in the world?
Ooh. Everybody getting so butthurt over everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Who
I
else
mean,
said that? Did someone
Aaron
say
said something similar to
Yeah.
that. And because we are the One More Rep podcast, we have one extra question for you. What is a superpower or a special talent that you have that no one knows about?
The ability to drink during a workout.
That is pretty talented.
That's pretty impressive.
That's freaking tough, dude.
I will say, like we put on a Friday Night Lights thing for the Open last year, and it was up in the Tri-Cities area of Tennessee, and so Friday night I would drink before the workout, during the workout, after the workout. I had a DD, of course. So I would do it drinking there, and then come Monday at the gym, everybody could retest your open workout. So I would retest it sober.
Mo, I love numbers. That's great.
That's great analytics
Yeah,
right there.
The analytics on that has to be phenomenal.
There's not a lot of difference for me. Sometimes I was
perform.
better drinking.
All right, as we wrap up here, how can our listeners find you on social media?
Social media, there is 75 Clothing or at 75 Clothing on Instagram. Of course, 75 Clothing on Facebook.
7 FIV.
Yes, the number 7, then FIVE. It always gets everybody stumbling because, of course, we did it a little bit different because it gets noticed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then the website.
The website is 75clothing.com.
And again, if you use our promo code One More Rep, 3 separate words, you will get free shipping. And right now, you currently have that promotion going where if you submit to the email list, you get, 10% off?
You get 15% on your first order.
So
But
we
now
actually
the-
have people ask, do they get both?
That's the bad thing about where our website is. We can only do one discount at a time.
Okay.
Not that people,
One is better than none.
Well, and here's the
No.
thing: what's better? And this is our question we always go back and forth with: is free shipping better
Or 15%.
15%.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's free shipping because shipping always costs a little bit more.
And don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on Facebook and iTunes. And for this week's call to action, for all of you that have already purchased some 7.5 gear, send us pictures and tag us and tag Wally, repping at your box or just wearing your gear wherever you're out and about.
And if you want my personal Instagram, which is not very good,
Is it you shooting guns all the time like Castro?
no, it's usually my dogs, but it's Beard Squatch 13.
Beard Squatch 13. There you go.
That's a sweet name, man.
That is pretty dope.
That's right up there with Brocephus.
As we get ready to close out, this episode is actually going to be airing on September 11th. For me, it was a Tuesday. It was my second day of training in an advanced course. And I remember coming into the base, and it was something that changed my life for the rest of my life. And hopefully it's something that never happens again. I've lost some friends. I'm sure you may have too.
I know it's got like a chill. Let me
Yeah,
know that.
and just everybody take a moment to remember all those that have made sacrifices ever since that day. And we're Red on Friday. It really means a lot. So that brings this week's episode to a close. I'm Mo, and I'm out.
Yeah. See you guys.
Yep. See ya.
Thank you for listening to the One More Rep podcast. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at One More Rep Podcast, or on Twitter at Can I Get One More, or shoot us an email at canigetonemore@gmail.com.
Well, but like the gym I go to, which I'll plug it, it's CrossFit One Valley.
Yeah.
No problem with that.
but
What's
what-
up, people?
Yeah,
Because
what up?
some of your guys listen to us.
They
Yeah.
do,
Who-
Daniel.
yeah, Daniel. Daniel's like, did you see his message? He's like, dude,
Yeah.
let us know when Wally's on. I'm so excited, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm definitely excited to have him. And actually, I told Wally you're going to push this episode to Tuesday, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yep.
If you didn't know now.
Because I guess if we're going to talk about, this is business, CrossFit related, as a podcast, we're like, we started out fitness for everyone. Like, this is about going to be Olympic
Just
weightlifting.
fitness in general, yeah.
Then we found CrossFit is typically, I mean, of course, we're going to kind of go
Gravitate towards
Right.
that because that's
we
where
know
we live.
and weightlifting. And so I guess it's how do you, as a podcast, how do we put enough out there, I guess, without pissing so many people off? We only have one genre, right? Just with your T-shirts. If you
Right.
go one way too hard, if you go super patriotic, you're going to piss off all the...
All the
yeah.
not so.
Mo gave me a look. Mo's like,
I saw it
don't
coming.
say it.
I saw it coming.
Don't say it. And you guys seen it if I can get this fucking edited. And Wally's like, yes, get him.
I was
And
like, oh,
no.
here it comes. Here it comes.
Man, I had
It's like watching a tennis match.
It was. Yeah. Anyways, if you go too
The
far,
more easily offended
Yeah.
demographic.
yeah. That's. What do you say? How would I say?
That you're
Efficient in my
Yeah,
communication.
efficient in your communications.
So